Alright guys, today I'm gonna talk about something really big. It's about the Chinese community's drama with the Natlan issue on Genshin. And I just watched the video about Tectone and he went through Mr. Poke's
Mihoyo,
reaction to some of
we
the
don't like
uh,
black
the
skins. Do you have a
forums and stuff like
problem
that
with
from
that?
Bilibili.
If you have a problem, make your own game.
Okay, so Mr. Poke did some correct translations there. That basically what it meant. But you know, there are racists in every
That
community,
is
right? You
fucking
can't just take
insane.
one
What the
person and
is
like
this?
generalize the whole
Here's what a
community or
Chinese
anything
fandom
like
thinks about
that.
the boycott.
And alright, this is where I have a problem with the video. So these translations are very bad. For people that think that this is exactly what they are saying, no, that is not what they are saying. First of all, characters look okay. What's the problem? Why do they need to have dark skin? Black skin are so repulsive to look at. Only slight tan are okay. This is horrible translation. Don't just take the words for it. 整体都不错啊，有什么问题? It's basically saying, in general, it looks good. What is the problem? 一定要全都黑皮肤. This basically means, does it mean that they have to be all dark skinned? Isn't dark skin less pleasant to look at? So that's kind of racist, but it's not as bad as this. Like so repulsive to look at? No. 看着不难受吗? It just means, isn't it unpleasant to look at? And 稍微有点小麦色的就可以了. That means having a little bit of tan looks good enough. So the whole sentence is slightly like displeased with like the argument of having dark skin tone for Natlan characters, but in general is saying, you know, in general the characters look good. There's no problem with it. And why do they have to be dark skinned, like black skinned? The hey people basically means black skin, right? Dark skin. And isn't dark skin just unpleasant to look at? A little bit of tan looks good enough. That's basically what they're saying.
Okay.
Definitely not as bad as what this translation is, right? So this is the problem I have. Like Tectone's reacting to something that's super poorly translated, and
Dude,
that kind of just like, yeah, you see? And then he makes the comment that they are racist.
Turtles are black, and there's swarms of them. Why aren't
yeah, now this isn't wrong.
Wait, what?
I've seen this tweet as well of someone posting this. Now that one's not the wrong translation. We don't have political correctness. I don't know what ZZZQ means. That's like their own slang. In a sense, it's like because some of the words are censored, so they have to type certain letters, and these signify Hanyu pinyin of every single Chinese word. So ZZZ and Q, I'm not sure what that is. 让他们给我们不想看太什么。
correctness, they can fuck off. I don't like someone who looks too black.
His camera is blocking it, so I didn't see it. But that's definitely not what they said. They basically just say we don't have whatever regulations or something like that. Just ask them to scram. I don't like to see something that's too black. That's fine. That translation is not the worst. This is horrible translation. This person probably just took the opportunity to type the N-word with asterisks, like it's just making use of the opportunity. Heikui. Heikui is, yes, it is like a derogatory term for black people, but it's basically saying blacks. It's not, it's like Yanggui is Caucasians. We call them Angmo, Hongmao, Yanggui. So it's like a slang where you kind of disrespect the people overseas, but it's definitely not a slave term. All right, so this is horrible. Like this is painting such a bad picture of the Chinese community. I can't even lie. Anyone that translated this way has to be freaking brain damaged. You don't do that unless you think of it yourself. Hey Gui, like you can call Chinese people chinks and that's racist, right? But it's not a slave term. I mean, unless they were used as a slave term. But the point being made, you can say that someone like an Asian is whatever stereotype, but that's not a slave term, right? Heikui is just like, oh, you know, they're blacks, black people. That's just how people refer to them. We call them Heiren. Heiren is black people. Heikui is just blacks. All right, it's a little bit derogatory, but it's not to the point of this N-word shit. And then 亚洲人从来不欠他们什么。So basically, they're saying black people can choose to summon whatever they want to summon. Asians don't owe them anything. Like, again, the translation is very aggressive. Someone has to check on this person, mental issues or whatever, I'm not sure. But the translation is actually just the black people can choose to summon whoever they want to summon. Asian people don't owe them anything. And then highlight ZZQ like 绑架我们 like basically I don't know what the ZZQ means. It's like they're saying that the black people are using some political stuff to try and get the moral upper hand or something on the Chinese people. And 黑神话搞完了 you like also okay, basically they're saying that the black community or the international community did a lot of shit to Black Myth Wukong, and yeah, there's some issues with that game as well, and that they are doing too much. 也是逆天了 they are just doing too much. 欧美那套在中国不管用. So ZG is 中国, it means China. They're saying that the European American stuff, like the movements over there, don't really work in China. Yeah, so
We won't.
they're basically saying that.
Okay, so not.
So Tectone's
People are
reacting
using
to
this to-
some of the worst translated shit possible that makes the Chinese people look the most racist, like in the most racist way. 整体都不错啊，有什么问题? So this is the one that was like the whole thing, right? Translation was horrible. Basically, the real translation is, in general, they look good. There's no what is the problem with it, and do they have to all be dark-skinned? Doesn't dark skin look less pleasing to the eyes? And having a little bit of tan should look good enough, right? That's
People are
the
using this to
translation
fit
for
their
that.
narrative, right?
Okay, now that one is kind of crazy, the Hilicho one. I can't defend that one, but in general, I think it's just that it's really bad. Like, they're painting Chinese people out, or like the Chinese community to be really bad. And this person, Avi, or Avi, they posted a lot more like forum comments and stuff like that. These are a little bit more racist than the ones that Tectone showed. So this one is saying that, oh, apparently a lot of people are like worried or concerned about Black Lives Matters. Also, it's like 黑人权益, it's like blacks' rights. Then just change all of them to black CVs. If you don't want to do something, then someone else is gonna do it. Yeah, I mean, China is a really competitive environment, stuff like that. 老米听从了他们的抗议，决定把配音全换成黑人。So basically, they're saying that Mihoyo listens to them and changes every single voice actors and actresses to black people. This is like sarcasm, obviously. They're not saying that Mihoyo really did it. It's just like, oh, there are a lot of, yeah, this one saying that a lot of black voice actors and actresses are really talented as well. So this one, right, is quite interesting. He says that if he's not wrong, Natlan should be close to Nanmeizhou, which is South African culture. And a lot of European Americans have forgotten about that. Black people are the ancestors. Wait, what? Oh, black people are the slaves of their ancestors that they were sold to them, and European American, South Africans, it's not Meizhou, South Americans, South Americans, Indians are yellow skinned. So the characters in the game don't have a problem with their skin tone, and even if there were, it's a Chinese company game, and of course the characters' appearances or like should appeal to the Asians, which I don't think is necessarily wrong. I'm not too sure about this, like unless Mihoyo really releases like a full disclosure on where the inspirations from Natlan is from, because this person is saying that they're from South America and that South Americans, indigenous indigenous South Americans are not black people or even tanned people, and that they are yellow skinned. I'm not a historian. I don't know about that. But this person's argument, I think, is quite rational. That a Chinese company caters and appeals to the Chinese community. So even though it's internationalized, they have no obligation to appeal to people that is not the target audience. Obviously, Mihoyo is a very big game company now. Genshin is a huge game, and a lot of people from all walks of life around the world are playing it. However, it is an Asian central culture, and the company appeals to the Asians. I don't think that necessarily is wrong. I don't think that's racist. This person is bringing up really rational arguments as well, and people that responded to him, Nanmei. So in South America, there are no black people in South America, is what they're saying, based on historic evidence, I guess. 放心吧，Mihoyo 100%不会管. So there's a 100% chance that Mihoyo just would ignore everything. 这么多年除了仲离, oh yeah, the best evidence is that for so many years, aside from Zhongli, they didn't really do anything else to like the game, based on feedback from international audiences and player base. And it's because of the Chinese community. Obviously, recently we had this issue with Neuvillette's nerf reversion, and then they took it up to the government. So there's a lot more show of like the Chinese community's power. This person also said it himself. Zhongli's situation wasn't due to like the rework of Zhongli wasn't due to the outer communities. It's because the Chinese community kind of like blew it up, and 210 million Tendo Bansho, which is the Zhongli's ulti. So they're just saying that they nuked the community and all that in China. That's why they changed Zhongli. This guy just supports that Mihoyo feigns ignorance. Alright. So these are all basically talking about the English voice actors and actresses that support the non-whitewashing of Genshin characters, right? And the comments section of this whole post, they're all talking about the non-whitewashing, and that the game company is basically not doing anything wrong. Like I don't think they necessarily whitewash the characters. It's that they appeal to the Chinese community more than the international community. They know what the Chinese community want. That's not to say that the whole Chinese community wouldn't accept more tanned or darker skin tone versions of the characters. It's just that that's how they think the community would feel. And apparently, based on all the comments and all that, you can see that the Chinese player base actually does appreciate that they whitewash a little bit of the characters. And then people are talking about how the English voice acting is really bad anyways, and they should have just removed it. They should change voice actors and actresses and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad of racism. I feel like they have their views on the things. Of course, they've been brought up in a completely different environment. They don't have to worry about international movements and stuff like that. They're in China. They have their own stuff, right? There is no reason for them to help the movement of, I don't know, BLM or anti-whitewashing. They have no reason to do that because they're not really impacted by any of these. Honestly, they find it more appealing and more attractive that the characters are fairer skin toned. Of course, there are people that have done some animations of the characters, and I'll just go find it right now. Alright, so I found the video that I was talking about. This person, Byte of 83, posted it, found this video on Bilibili about Natlan. Not really sure what the comments on this video are saying. Not sure how to translate it. So let's just take a look at this, right? 18 seconds of videos. 外网改的原声纳塔内塔角色 AP. So it's basically like the edits of characters, basically what the international audience think they would look like. Some people did some edits and un-whitewash them, if you will. So those characters look a little bit tanner now, a bit more dark-skinned, and so this is like a compilation. 诶，你别说这个看起来还挺好。So this person is just saying, hey, it looks kind of good, right? Looks kind of good, the top. So these are the edits of like a tanner. DC 你染发了 DC did you just dye your hair? 讲真的还不错 To be honest, it's not bad 可爱呢 So this is like, that's cute So this is the original character and that's the 10th version, right? 更喜欢了 Someone said I like it even more now 哎呀真的还挺不错啊最起码不是黑的反光的那种 Okay, so this person is saying Oh, it's not bad. At least it's not the type that's like super black, where to the point where it's like reflective. So they're referring to like certain black skin tones where it's really, really dark and it's like reflective kind of. So they're saying that this they can accept, not to the point of black, because this is tan, right? This looks more brownish tan. 这个黑皮改的真小仓鼠改的挺顺眼 Okay, so they're saying that the little squirrel looks pretty good. And as you can see, there are people in China that can agree with these skin tone changes. It's not like all of them are racist, right? We all know this. It's not generalization, but there are people that can agree, but they're talking about extreme like changes because people from the international audience that want to make the change, like for example, look at this, right? And if you just go on Natlan drama, yeah, you can see how many people made content on this issue. Game FAQs, Screen Rant, IGN. A lot of them are talking about representation, about skin tone, about whitewashing, and a lot of them are actually talking about giving more representation to like darker skin tone, indigenous skin tones, and stuff like that, right? However, the issue is that the Chinese community, when they think about dark skin tones, they're instantly thinking about like blacks, and they might not like that kind of appeal on their characters. I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but they are not really that inclined to the thought of changing all of their characters to super dark skin tones. Whereas things like these, like in this video, this isn't very dark. This is tan. This is like brown. Chinese people have this skin tone, so they find it more natural now, right? It doesn't look that bad. That they are saying that it looks kind of sexy. Look at that. It's kind of sexy. Not bad. They don't mind this kind of change. But when people are asking them to riot and raise the issue to the government again about this whitewashing, they're not going to do that because they think that the characters are looking okay. This is, honestly, in my honest opinion, this is too fair, right? For where the characters are supposed to be, this is too fair. They should at least be a little bit tan. I agree that the tan one looks better. And a lot of them do. They think that it's not bad. You can change it to a little bit of tan skin tones, but they just don't want it to be dark skin tone. So there's a difference between tan and dark skin tone to them, and there's like a range that they can accept probably. So whitewashing and all this, I think these are just a bit too extreme. They're saying that Mihoyo is being racist, whitewashing characters, things like that, ignoring the international community. You know, English voice actors and actresses are raising a big hoo-ha about all these issues. I don't really think it's that huge of an issue. Of course, I don't want to involve myself in this much drama, but people can have their own opinions. I'm all for the change, right? I think they did maybe hit the mark slightly off on this issue, and they shouldn't have made it so whitewashy. They should have at least made the characters more tan like this. This looks good. Yan-san, like this character looks at least the part. So I think that should be what they look like. Maybe not super dark skin tone. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to talk about on this issue. It's a lot of Genshin drama again. And I hope everyone just just do what you want to do, whatever, and have a nice day. That's all I want to say. See you in the next one.